The hype around the new college football video game is off the charts right now. EA's official reveal video has surpassed 1.5 million views in just 24 hours, while no Madden has surpassed that amount since 2021. In this video, I'm going to talk about the main game modes that EA has released details on so far, my biggest disappointment surrounding the game, which does not include the lack of the game being on PC, and then to wrap it up, I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do the night the game drops. But first, let's talk about the 4 main game modes. We've got Dynasty, Road to Glory, College Football Ultimate Team, and Road to the College Football Playoff. The official reveal trailer really didn't help us gain any understanding of what these game modes will entail because it was primarily just visual display, kind of showing you the traditions that were going to be in the game. So our best hint actually came from an article that EA released later that day. It's important to remember that 3 of these 4 game modes actually existed in NCAA 14. However, the entire video game space looked different 10 years ago. So let's get the potential ugly out of the way first, and that's Ultimate Team. It's clear that fans care more about Dynasty and Road to Glory when it comes to college football, but EA has proven by the benefits that come with the Deluxe and MVP edition that Ultimate Team will play a crucial role in this year's game, just like it does in every other EA title. While Ultimate Team is important for EA to financially sustain the game, we want to know that the classic college football game modes will be taken seriously. Now, I'm actually kind of curious to try College Football Ultimate Team because I think it'll be much more diverse than Madden's Ultimate Team, and here's why. We've got over 130 college teams with endless opportunities to mix and match players. With 32 teams, Madden obviously lacks the same diversity in players, logos, stadiums, uniforms, and so on. So I am cautiously optimistic that this game mode could end up being very enjoyable, especially if your favorite team ends up having a good season, which would give your favorite players upgrades and different things like that, so you would be able to enjoy the content a lot more. I think the biggest concern for everybody is that EA has prioritized Ultimate Team on its other titles over the kind of story mode that Dynasty and Road to Glory would bring along, but I do think that the developers know that that's not what fans want with this game. So it'll be interesting to see how well Ultimate Team performs, given the fact that a lot of people may never touch it at all. But instead of spending too much time on a game mode people are less excited about, let's talk about Dynasty and online dynasties. Speaking of dynasties, I'm wearing this Boise State shirt not because I'm a fan of Boise, although they are great, but because Matt and I have been doing a co-op dynasty on our Twitch channel with Boise State, and it just so happens that we have been approved under the affiliate partnership with Fanatics this month. So if you need to get some gear for your favorite team or your NCAA dynasty powerhouse that you're going to create on day one, click the link in the description to check out what's available on fanatics.com. And if you want a college football dynasty content, this is the place to be. So subscribe, check us out on Twitch to keep up with the action live. No more self-promo. Let's talk about Dynasty mode. First, EA describes Dynasty mode the same as we've always known it. Basically, you're taking over a team as a coach and trying to turn that team into a powerhouse. But it's the next statement in their article that I'm most excited about. It says, establish your coaching staff. Does this mean that we're finally going to have the ability to fire and hire our coaching staff? Like offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, maybe we could see more than that. I don't know. That would be really cool. Obviously, games like 2K allow for that, where you're hiring not just your top staff members, but even some of your training staff and things like that. So I've always wanted that with Dynasty, with NCAA football. Nobody likes having to find or not really find. You just get whatever offensive and defensive coordinators you get from the game with NCAA 14. But with the new game, I think it sounds like we're going to be able to establish our coaching staff, which to me means that we're going to be able to pick our coaching staff, maybe negotiate their contracts, their pay, maybe have some sort of a budget to work with. I don't know that that's the case. That's something that maybe Matt Brown could answer, but to me, establish your coaching staff does provide a different level of hands-on approach that we might be able to have in our rebuilds, which that's obviously a good thing because I think that adds a very realistic aspect to the Dynasty mode that we did not see in NCAA 14. The other obvious change that they mentioned in their article was the transfer portal. We don't know how recruiting is going to look in the new game, but rest assured it's likely going to be different than NCAA 14. I've seen people kind of split on it. Some people liked NCAA 14 recruiting. Some people liked recruiting like NCAA 11. I don't know what we're going to get, but the transfer portal is going to be a part of it. So obviously things are going to look pretty different because if it's point allocation, for example, you're gonna have to allocate points to the transfer portal and not just your high school recruits. So it'll be interesting to see how they approach recruiting in this game. The last exciting news regarding dynasties was the online dynasty announcement that they will support up to 32 players in one online dynasty. It's basically a copy and paste of Madden's limits, but it's still a solid number nonetheless. I would have liked to see at least 36 so that you could have a full takeover of 2 conferences, because the SEC now has like 18 members, I think. But as a massive group of 5 fan, the Herd Bros will be starting an online dynasty with 32 group of 5 teams. So if you are interested, if you're a group of 5 fan, you want to do a rebuild with a group of 5, let us know in the comments so that we can get you involved in that. I don't know if you guys can tell by the way I'm talking, but for me personally, I am most excited about the dynasty features that we're going to see in this game. But for others, it might be Road to Glory. Based on EA's description of Road to Glory, we can expect more things that you can do to impact your player, and that includes managing your schedule, getting a good GPA, and perhaps even impacting your name, image, and likeness. So I don't know if you're going to be able to negotiate contracts or something like that, but it sounds like there might be some involvement with NIL. And to no surprise, the transfer portal will be in this game mode too. One of my biggest curiosities about Road to Glory though is whether or not we will be able to import facial features, or exactly how much we can customize our players' looks. This is something that, like in the past in FIFA, I've been almost able to create like an exact image of myself. I think it would be really cool and really enhance Road to Glory if we had full customization of a player to make them look like ourselves, and also kind of give them the swag that they need to look good in the game. But now comes the biggest question mark with the details that EA released, and that's with the game mode that they're calling Road to the College Football Playoff. The way I read this description, I think it's more of a competitive 1v1 online divisions type of game mode, but I have heard some people say that this is like a dynasty. I don't think that's the case. In NCAA 14, you could play 1v1s for fun, or you could play what they called, I think, ranked play. In my opinion, this is the new ranked 1v1 game mode where you will play other users outside of Ultimate Team and online dynasties. They mentioned polls, which maybe is like a ladder approach, where as you win, you can move up with your skill points, or however they do it. But it seems like it's going to be more of you pick the base team in the game. You don't have the chance to build that team. You just pick the base team and you play against somebody else that picks the same kind of base team. So I do think that we're going to see a lot of people picking the same teams, like Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, whoever has the most stacked rosters. But hopefully EA can do something to kind of negate that a little bit, because obviously you want to kind of spread the love to all the teams so that you're not always coming up against Georgia and Alabama, which means that you probably have to choose a really stacked roster just to compete in the ranked play. It would be nice if they could maybe level the playing field a little bit so that we can get more team usage, but I don't really know how they would do that. So now that we've covered the 4 main game modes that there's going to be in this game, I want to talk about my biggest disappointment from the official reveal and what I'll be doing the first day the game is out. PC users are obviously upset. You've seen the news. The game's not going to be on PC, at least not at its release. You've also seen news that there's not going to be a mascot mode, or at least they haven't mentioned that there is going to be one. But I'm actually not most disappointed in those 2 things. As of today, there has been no mention that online dynasties will be cross-platform, which is something that's really important to us, because we have in our community, we have a lot of Xbox users, we have a lot of PlayStation users. Both Matt and myself are on PlayStation. A lot of our friends are on Xbox. If everybody wants to be in an online dynasty from all the platforms, they cannot do that right now. To me, that is a huge disappointment, and I really don't understand it, because it's my understanding, as somebody who has kind of been away from Madden for obvious reasons, that Madden's online franchise mode does allow for cross-platform. They've also mentioned that in the new college football game, Ultimate Team is going to be cross-platform. So I'm hoping that this was kind of just like overlooking in their article, or maybe it's something that's going to be added before the game comes out or immediately thereafter. But it's a huge disappointment that online dynasties are not going to be cross-platform. And I hope EA, if somebody on your development team is watching this, please make it cross-platform. Either way, regardless of how you're feeling after this week's announcements, July can't come soon enough. I'm looking forward to starting my first dynasty with Marshall, seeing our new uniforms, stadium renderings, traditions, and probably a lot more before leading the Herd to a national championship. So that's what I'm going to be doing on day number 1. Matt and I might be able to do a co-op Marshall Dynasty and stream it until we win the national championship on the first night of the game. So we'll see if that's possible. I hope that it is, because we'd really like to do that. But until then, you can find us playing College Football Revamped on Twitch in preparation for the new game. That's all I've got for now, guys. If you're looking forward to the new game, don't forget to hit subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching until this point. And if you want to keep up with us live, you can way, go follow us on Twitch and keep in touch with us through our Discord. All of those links will be in the description. We'll see you guys in the next one.